She just is able to hit the nail on the head in ways that others can. Please welcome Ann Coulter.
Thank you. You're putting a lot of pressure on me. I came to hear you two. Thank you for that magnificent report a few weeks ago, and I have no idea how young you were. I read your stuff all the time. So you're the ones I came to hear. Immigration, there's no point in talking about any other issue. There's no more important issue than immigration. As Phyllis Schlafly's report has demonstrated, we lose everything if we lose immigration. One of my friends was emailing me yesterday about some debate on Facebook with some snotty liberals about should we kick Texas out of the country because there's so many conservative voters. And it was, you know, silly liberals being silly. But the point is, that is what immigration will do. That is what Marco Rubio's bill will do. We will lose 25 million voters. It is the equivalent of losing that many members of Congress, that many senators, and never winning another presidential election. And yet, what's strange about the immigration debate, I can't think of another issue where you cannot hear the other side in the media. And you can hear a pro-life view. Back during the Iraq War, you heard both pro and con. In fact, even on conservative networks, you did. There is no issue that is as important and as as much interest to the American people that is simply hidden by the media. I think they correctly suspect that the American people may not be with them. But as a consequence, I mean, people can only know what they hear on TV or read in newspapers, and there are any number of things that, you know, you just talk to people, and people don't know big, obvious facts about immigration. For example, I think someone may have mentioned this, did you know that Marco Rubio's amnesty bill would triple legal immigration? Triple it. Did you know that the children covered under the DREAM Act include 17-year-olds? So by now, some of them, we're talking about giving amnesty to, the children. They're 30 years old. Right. Did you know that a majority of immigrants do not care about amnesty? The Democrats know. In Obama's ads to Hispanic language radio and TV stations, he never talks about amnesty. His ads were saying Obamacare is going to give you free health care. They know Hispanics don't care. And in fact, I was just thinking, you know how it's a big line with the Democrats that Republicans only care about the fetus until it's born, meaning that we don't support, you know, a raft of social service workers, I guess. But the point is, how about flipping that on them? Democrats only care about immigrants until they can vote. Because bringing in a successive wave of another 1.2 million immigrants a year, who is that hurting? It's hurting the last round of immigrants. It's hurting our low-wage workers. You know, my whole life I've heard Republicans, you know, are racist, don't like black people, don't care about black people. I never believed it until I read Marco Rubio's amnesty bill. And to follow up on the guest worker point that you made, I intend to write about this at some point in the future. I think you've written a fair bit about the H-1B. H-1B, that's it, right? I always get these numbers confused. This is nothing but indentured servitude. Mark Zuckerberg brings in people to run the copy machine, and they are not the best and the brightest. They aren't even the ones taking the top jobs. They're the low-level employees. Ha-ha, but the advantage of H-1B is they can't leave the company that brought them in. They can't bargain for higher wages. They are stuck. It's indentured servitude. Oh, because Mark Zuckerberg doesn't have enough money. But we can't have a rational discussion about immigration because liberals will, and Republicans will invoke the magical word, racist, racist, this is racist. As Phyllis Schlafly's report demonstrates, this has nothing to do with race or ethnicity. Immigrants from whatever country have always found a comfortable home in the Democratic Party, in part because they're all coming from more liberal countries, though not so much anymore as we become more liberal. But we used to be a beacon of freedom in the world, any place they were coming from. I mean, look at New Hampshire. Just think about immigration in our own country. Oddly enough, you think people are saying, I'm leaving all that behind, I'm coming to America. No, they go to new places and bring their New York values with them. When they move from New York to Florida, from Boston to New Hampshire, they move for the low taxes and then they vote for high taxes. It is the same thing with immigrants from other countries. We can win them over eventually, but as Schlafly's report demonstrates, even with the early 20th century immigrants, a lot of Italians and Irish and Jews, it took us 50 years and Ronald Reagan to get them to flip. We don't have time. We're doing the sorcerer's apprentice thing, trying to mop up the floor while the buckets are still being dumped. No, we gotta cut off the flow. We need a moratorium. We'll have time to win them over, and we will win over some immigrants, but it takes time. I also want to mention on the racist point, when the 1965 bill was being enacted, all of its sponsors swore up and down, Teddy Kennedy, LBJ, that Emanuel Seller in the House, two conservative, patriotic organizations were testifying this is going to change America. This will make it a different country. Never has a country, by government policy, simply changed its ethnicity. I mean, can you imagine Japan? Oh, let's become Mexican. Never has there been a change like this, and as a consequence, knowing this was going to happen, Teddy Kennedy, Seller, LBJ all swore this bill will not change the ethnicity of America. So they're apparently allowed to talk about ethnicity and the impact of an immigration bill when they're lying. But if we point out, using the exact, wait, that was a lie. Oh, no, that's out of bounds, that's racist. It's a very strange disjointedness. And to follow on this point, this isn't natural. You get, especially on places like my favorite network for humor is MSNBC. You know, they're sneering and, oh, Republicans just have to get used to it. The country is changing. The country is changing. No, this isn't a natural process. It's like you're being raped and the guy is telling you, "Sorry, my penis is in you, and nothing you can do about it." No, you're raping me! This is changing the country by force. There is nothing natural about it. I also think you can never remind people enough, Democrats have not been winning people through their dazzling arguments. They have changed the voters. And in the 2012 election, if the country had not changed, by force, on purpose, by people trying to harm this country, i.e. Teddy Kennedy, Romney would have won a larger landslide against Obama than Reagan won against Carter in 1980. Because he won 4 points more of the white vote. Back in 1980, the country was nearly 90% white. Now, not all of voting age, but now it's about 62% white.